Hello, today we're going to see if we can carry on trying to break into the top 100 worldwide. As I play, I'll do my best to impart general principles of play onto anyone who's looking to try to learn and win more and break into Master Ball tier in Pokemon Sword and Shield. And we are playing a top 100 player, rank 48, very archetypal Sun team. My thought process going into this match is always, firstly, how do I counter the Charizard, because the Charizard is a substantial threat. And of course, with the Weather War, you have to ensure, number one, Kyogre cannot lead here. The reason Kyogre cannot lead here is that would allow them to leverage a Groudon switch in to change the weather. So I obviously have to go with Zapdos here because it is immune to ground attacks, it is super effective into Charizard, and it outputs solid damage pressure onto just about everything else. Fake out pressure could be very useful for the Grimnsnarl. And of course, we'll bring our two restricted in the back. So I think with my opponent, for them, it's going to be all about how they perhaps try and leverage the Gastrodon, which can obviously nullify Kyogre with that Water Absorb ability. I think the scariest Sun teams I run into run Assault Vest Groudon. I think that's a very, very good tech in the meta currently. So, I am anticipating maybe a Groudon Charizard Grimmsnarl. Incineroar Grimm. So, very passive lead by them. And so, my first choice here is, do I want to risk Dynamaxing? Because if I Dynamax and they manage to get a defensive playoff, it's not good for me at all. You should only Dynamax when you're sure you have the momentum to start picking up knockouts. I think Zapdos. I'm actually happy to protect Zapdos. And fake out Grimmsnarl. And my logic here is, right now they have fake out pressure from both slots, and I don't want to give them the pleasure of denying me fake tiers. I also want to scout out what they want to go for. That's why I'm choosing to delay my Dynamax. And see, now I'm in a much better position because that fake out pressure is no longer there. I can go max Airstream into fake tiers. Now, part of the issue here will be if Grimmsnarl goes for Light Screen, which seems fairly probable, I would imagine. We are going to go for it anyway, just because with the fake tiers pressure, the parting shot stat drops might not be the end of the world. And it might not be Screen's Grimmsnarl, it might be Trick, Scary Face, etc. It is Light Screen, so my concern here is that the Incineroar will survive and get a parting shot off. I do wonder if it might have been more intelligent for me to maybe just stay in base form another turn, or perhaps switch into Kyogre. Okay, no, we do get the knockout. That was a little bit of a risk from me there, because if we don't get that knockout and they get parting shot off, we're in a little bit of a sticky situation. However, we've essentially broken through their defensive passive lead, and I do think the key there was protecting on turn 1, just acknowledging that I wasn't going to get much value out of my Dynamax that turn. I think a very common mistake people make is they kind of just impulsively Dynamax on turn 1, and you have to kind of read whether the momentum is actually there or not. And this turn I took a little bit of a risk, but Life Orb Zapdos, it should always get the knockout here. Now, I think this is a bait. I think this is a bait because Zacian is always going down here if I target it. I think from their perspective, they might think just attack anyway, because, if I don't respect that slot, it's potentially a way for them to get back into the game. But if they do protect here, then I will punish them very hard. No, it is just Scary Face. Okay, that's not good. The key thing here is that the Persian is still at +1. So it will be able to reduce the Zacian's speed the subsequent turn, and then because they'll be down to their last 2 Pokemon, they'll lose the ability to change around the weather. And so Kyogre should be able to win the game. Is that Sash Grimsnarl? No, it just survived. Interesting. I would assume Zacian considers protecting now, and they just get the knockout onto Persian. Yeah, I think perhaps I had enough of an advantage there that I didn't need to respect the protect play. But since Kyogre and Zacian will now outspeed them in the back, I think we should always win from here. So, key here, I'm not going to risk switching in my Kyogre, because if my Kyogre was faster than their Groudon, that would give them the weather control. So they're obviously going to Dynamax Groudon, which shouldn't be too much of an issue, except I imagine their optimal play here would be to protect Zacian and then get the knockout onto my Zacian with Max Quake. And that's actually a little bit terrifying, and since Heat Wave should knock out their Zacian anyway, no, I think I have to protect here, because I think if they... Because my Kyogre won't necessarily outspeed their Zacian just because it's at -1. Therefore, I have to preserve my Zacian, because a 2v1, especially if it's a Salt Vest Groudon with Light Screen up, this could get ugly, so... I would assume they have to target the Zacian here. The other scary thing is they're getting a lot of special... They will potentially accumulate a lot of special defense boosts. Yeah, alright. Very, very well done by them. Fucking hell, I might have just thrown the game there. I think I've got punished very heavily twice now for reading into the Zacian Protect, and I think when you're in an advantageous position as I was, reading into the Protect, you have a lot more to lose than gain. You know, if they get the Protect off, it's not the end of the world. But no, I might be in a bit of shit. Fucking hell, it's going to be tense. Comes down to whether their Groudon is faster. I think they protect Zacian. Yeah, they do protect Zacian. It's So we finally get the protect read right. Oh, is that a crit? I'm sorry. I am very, very sorry. Yeah, so we probably didn't deserve to win the game at this point. However, I don't feel too guilty about winning because I think they got incredibly indulgent, because I could have won the game several turns ago if I just punished them for not using protect. And that's a lesson in future. Don't let people cheese you. Keep people honest, as I say. And we get the win.